Hello everyone, my name is Fidaligators and welcome to another video, and today we will be talking about Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War and its crashing issues, and how Activision is blaming other companies for the fact that their game is faulty. But before we get into this, make sure to subscribe to the channel to see more Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War content. Now, for those of you who don't know about this issue, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War has been crashing a lot of consoles and even bricking some of them. Most notably, the Series S and the Series X have constant crashing issues due to Activision's own stupidity. And even older gen consoles like my Xbox One that I have and PS4s are also having trouble as well. And I was going to look into it because I've had crashing problems as well, and I discovered a neat little thing. And also I was reading about it and looked more into it. And personally, this is the way Xbox works with it. I'm not talking about PlayStation. Personally, I don't have one, but I assume it's very similar to why the PS5 crashes and why the PS4 crashes as well. So essentially, Xbox has its own version of a thing that makes sure you have the right version of the game. So if I was playing on Xbox One, and of course I bought the cross-gen bundle, the Xbox One itself, or more so Microsoft, will make sure that I am playing the right version of the game. However, this isn't what they did. In fact, Activision just went completely around that and did their own version of this, which doesn't work out that well considering Microsoft's is completely free for developers to use. And also considering Microsoft makes the console, I'm pretty sure they would know more about it than Activision does. So anyway, Activision went around that and installed their own version of this, and that is why the consoles are crashing. The reason is, on the original Xbox One, it will actually play the Xbox One X version, which doesn't make any sense because the Xbox One does not have as good of hardware, which means it can't properly run the game, and it crashes, at least it crashes my console, and it occasionally just crashes the game. Now you think if they did this on Xbox One, well, what's it like on the One X? And for some reason, the One X also is playing the wrong version as well. As far as I know, every single console is playing the wrong version of the game due to Activision not knowing what they're doing. The massive reason the Series X and S are completely crashing is because they're playing the Xbox One X version, which is last-gen hardware, so it can't run everything that it can. Now, you may think that doesn't make any sense. Why would a game that's meant to run on older, an older system not work on a newer system? And the entire thing has to do with ray tracing. See, the Xbox One X is completely built to handle ray tracing, but the game for the One X is not meant to handle it. So they're not really compatible, and this causes a lot of issues in terms of the processing of how the game actually works on the Series X and the Series S. Now, you may think with such an obvious bug, and also, keep in mind, this is not the only reason the game crashes. The One X, or no, the Xbox One, that is the reason it crashes, but the Series X, it also has to do with the way Activision designed the ray tracing and other stuff like that, if you do have the correct version of the game. So, it's a whole convoluted thing, but that's the number one answer why. So, instead of owning up to this and completely saying, hey, we completely screwed up, it's our fault, we installed our own faulty equipment, Activision decided to completely blame Microsoft and Sony for the fact that they aren't working. So, if you go onto Activision support for the Xbox One, what it will say is, make sure you have the correct version of the game installed, which you really can't do because I paid $70 for the cross-gen bundle, and I'm not about to pay $60 for a completely new game so I can play it on my last-gen console. So I said to myself, I'm not going to buy a $60 game when I already spent $10 more on a game that hardly even works. And the funny thing is, most game journalists and game websites have already come up with an answer about the whole thing with it playing the wrong version before Activision has even released an official statement about why it's happening. And so back to the thing about Activision owning up to it, they say on my console, if it's not the fact that it's the wrong version, then it's just a faulty console. You have to send it back to Microsoft. It's 100% on their end, not our fault, because we're a big bad Activision. We can take on any company we want. But here's the thing you forgot to think about Activision. Microsoft doesn't accept original Xbox Ones anymore. The console's been out for 7 years. They don't even sell power bricks anymore, because why would they supply for a console that didn't sell as good as the PS4 in the first place, that also not a lot of people still use, because a lot of people have either last gen updated or completely new gen. So Activision just didn't really think about that. And the same can be said for Sony. I believe they don't really service old original PS4s anymore. So it's kind of 100% on Activision's fault for making you buy a cross-gen bundle that, by the way, should completely work for your console, because the entire thing of it was it's on the last-gen version, and then once you buy next-gen, you can get the next-gen version, but you just had to pay extra money initially. I could be wrong about the PS4 not being serviceable or playing the wrong edition, but I'm pretty sure that's the reason, because the very similar aspects have been reported, that you open the game for a second, and then if you try to connect to the actual multiplayer or get into any part of the game, it just crashes. And for me, it crashes my entire console, but for a lot of people, it will just bring them to the main screen because it can't physically run the game on the older hardware. So even though if you go onto Activision's website and its known issues for Cold War, they say they are investigating into it, but everybody already knows what the problem is, so I don't get why Activision can't just fix this in the recent patches, especially because since the game started, or since the game's been released, there have been crashing issues, and there have been a entirely full-fledged season update and multiple patches, but for some reason they just can't fix this one issue. And so with that, we will conclude the video. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment anything down below, such as what you thought of the video or future video ideas. And as always, I will see you all next time.